What up, Chooms? It's your man, Mavs the Machine. I'm back again after a couple of days. I had some things to deal with, but we're back at it. You know what? I got to start doing these things daily, and I do apologize that I left y'all hanging. What's up, Boogie? What's up?
Did you order a drink?
No.
Yes, you did. Look, see?
You're so silly. Thank you very much.
Hey, that's mine.
No, it's mine now. Give me. Give me that. You're gonna get some more. You interrupted my.
The cup.
No, later. Hurry up, bring me back another one then. Interrupting my kids, right? So anyway, again, Mavs the Machine, I'll be your host for this episode of Tyson's TV. And today, what I wanted to dive into was NASA, or Nasholes, as I call them. I just personally, I think that the Artemis was a faked mission, just like the original moon mission, man. But you know what? Let's just get into it. Let's just dive into it. I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. Why does my t-shirt look all stressed out about the neck? This is a brand new shirt, man. Anyway, let's check this out.
Is the Artemis 2 mission staged? That's what these images and videos allegedly prove. Really? No. And conspiracy theories about moon missions are not new. Let's break this down. In April, 4 astronauts have been going around the moon. It's the first crewed flight beyond low Earth orbit since 1972, and it's live streamed. But still, many people online claim that it's staged. This viral image suggests that the astronauts are using a green screen to create photos and videos which are being published. But this image itself is fake. To be more precise, it's AI generated. How do we know? Reed Wiseman's arm is missing, and there are no wires holding Christina Koch. Another example. This image also suggests that the mission is staged, but it's AI generated too. It appears that someone created the AI generated image with a screenshot of this video provided by NASA. When you look closely, you can see clear signs of AI generation. Christina Koch's face looks distorted, this pipe leads to nowhere, and this part of the cameraman's headphone looks weird too. So, these alleged proofs of an alleged staged mission are all fake.
That's easy to counter because you have the proof with all the radio stations on Earth that the Artemis 2 crew left Earth orbit and went to the moon.
Also, the live stream and live interviews prove that the mission really is taking place. Still, since the first mission in 1969, these conspiracy theories go around the world.
For the record, do you think that we didn't walk on the moon?
I don't think we did. I think it was fake.
But all these theories have been debunked ever since.
We have a scientific proof of that landings. We have 382 kilograms of rocks and samples from the moon, which could at that time never be brought to Earth by robotic missions.
Looking for more evidence and insights about Artemis 2? Check out NASA's website at images.nasa.gov. Is the Artemis 2 mission staged? That's what these images and videos allegedly prove. Really? No. And conspiracy theories about moon missions are not new.
The thing is, if it's easy to fake with AI, then why would it be so far-fetched to think that they faked the mission entirely? And I'm sorry, I wish I can get more real estate on the video for you guys, but shorts don't take up the whole screen. I think it's a 9:16 ratio, but what the... Let's check this out and then we'll go to a full video. I hate to be that type of guy that picks everything apart, but in this case, why would you blow a water bubble that covers your entire face, your nose and your mouth? You're essentially drowning yourself in a zero-G environment, right? Now, if you are in space, you see the way he popped the bubble, then there's all types of bubbles just floating off everywhere. So what are you meant to do after? You're going to catch all the individual bubbles? Because I can't imagine what kind of fucking havoc that would wreak in a space station if you've got water bubbles floating everywhere. What if one water bubble floats into navigation system. I don't know what's on the damn Artemis, but navigation system or some computer that's integral to being able to man and pilot the Artemis. I don't understand the sense of that. I don't. And I noticed too that the females always have their hair just flying everywhere. They never tie them up. What is that? What is that? Anyway, let's look at something that's not legit, like straight up trying to point out that it's fake. Let's just look at
those pretty tense moments there for a second. And when we got done that burn, we just kind of looked at each other as a crew. We have been to the moon before in 1969, 1968 through 1972. It's been a long time since we've been back. And I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort. And we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
I think probably one of the things that surprised all of us is when those solid rocket boosters actually lit and we left the pad. It was just a moment of disbelief. And yeah, the fact that we launched, it just totally takes you by surprise, even though you're expecting it, at least for me anyway. And I just had a huge smile across my face.
Having just experienced incredible views of planet Earth and seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane, knowing that we're about to have some similar views of the moon in that same way is definitely getting me more excited for it.
Trust us, you look amazing. You look beautiful. And from up here, you also look like one thing. Homo sapiens is all of us, no matter where you're from or what you look like. We're all one people.
Yeah, I don't. He said the gravity just hit him. Like, brother, you just launched into space on a rocket. Space. Supposedly since 1969, the first time that we as humans went to the moon. It's just now sinking into you? I don't understand. All right, let's check this out too. Why we're going back to the moon. So just to point this out, again, we're not looking for things, but I just wanted to mention it. So Christina Koch, or Koch, Koch, she was in the Mad Max movie, I believe. So you know what? Now my interest is piqued. Let's check. If she shows up in IMDb. Where's my keyboard? Oh, no. Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. So she was in it. Is that her? No, that's a dude. Okay, so there's no picture of her here. So IMDb is a list of course, actors and their accolades, or am I saying that right? Accolades. The list of actors and their accolades and what they've done as far as movie titles and their roles in movies. So I only bring this up so just to point out that if she was in, I can't imagine as an astronaut you would dedicate your life. This is your career to going into space. I wouldn't think that you'd have the time to feature or play a part in a movie, be it a bit part or not. I don't understand how you can have a career as an astronaut and still have time to do movies. It don't jive, man. It don't jive. Anyway, let's go into this. First mission to the moon was 1969. It is now 2026, and this is the first time we've had a person of color on a space mission. Not to mention, if you've watched that movie, I forget the numbers, but it's a movie about the 4 black ladies that actually did the math to make the moon mission possible. Anyway, putting that out there. So that the video we watched earlier where the dude had that water bubble on his face and then it splashes everywhere. How dangerous is that? If you're up in an actual space station, you've got water molecules floating around the roommates, and you know how cramped it is in an apartment. You better
Administrator Isaacman,
the space station, right? And you guys are sharing that supposedly sharing that cramped space in space. Yo, I'd be tripping, dude. What's this? Operation Ranger? Immersive. Huh? Sorry, I got distracted. You know me and gaming. How to fly Orion. Let's see. What else? NASA faked it. Oh.
If you think about it.
And let's remember the Apollo mission, right? The one that supposedly blew up. Why are all of those astronauts still alive? How many years later? 38 years later? They're still alive. I mean, I don't wish anybody dead, but, you know, supposedly they blew up in the Apollo mission, and then they're alive. Still under the same names. Just continued their career. What is that? That is beyond some kind of what's that shit they call that phenomenon where you thought you remembered it one way and it was it's actually something else. I forget. It's right there, but I can't. Anyway, let's see what this astronaut has to say.
There's no way to fake it.
This is astronaut Charlie Duke.
Okay, I'm panning your camera around at various places here. We just set a new world speed record, Houston. 17 kilometers an hour on the moon.
One of only 4 humans alive today that walked on the moon, reacting to conspiracy theories that he is a liar.
We went to the moon 9 times. You're going to fake something, do it once and shut up.
And this is me in the least educated town in America, so I can find conspiracy theories for him to react to.
Let's be honest, we all have AI.
Kubrick directed this in Area 51.
400,000 people working on Apollo, and the Russians and the race, they congratulated us instead of saying you faked it.
Hey man, I don't believe it either. The moon's too big to land on anything.
So what was the central purpose of the Apollo 16 mission?
It was the first and only landing in the lunar highlands, the mountains of the moon. They expected to be some unique rocks. Everybody else had landed on the Mare, the dark area of the moon. Now we're in almost in the center of the moon. As you look at it from Earth, the rocks were different. We'd never sampled any of these rocks. And then we had a lot of experiments that we had accomplished to put out seismic experiments. It was very, very successful mission.
How do you feel about the moon landing?
Landing? I ain't heard of that, man.
You haven't heard of it? How do you feel about the moon landings?
Moon landing?
Yeah.
What's that?
You know, in the 1960s when they landed on the moon? No.
By the way, you may remember I've done a video like this before, but in this video,
we're going to be going to smarter and smarter locations to see if we can still find moon landing deniers there. And see if even at the smartest places, Charlie can still debunk them.
But so far in Visalia, it was proving to be easy.
I don't even trust this country.
We finally got someone to sit down and talk to us, though, in the Visalia Mall.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
I decided to pull up some moon landing footage of astronauts bouncing around, and here's what she had to say about it.
You think that looks like legit?
No.
Okay.
The way he's hopping along, it just doesn't look real to me. I just don't believe it.
If you think it was faked, how do you think they did
They
it?
did it in the studio. You know how when you go to Vegas, you can go into these things where they actually have rooms like that where you can go and like I don't know, I think it was just like a set up thing.
She seems to think that the footage implies this was shot on Earth. Here's Charlie's rebuttal to that.
Apollo 15, Dave Scott had a hammer and a feather.
Well, in my left hand, I have a feather. In my right hand, a hammer. And I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time.
And he dropped one.
How about that?
They both hit the ground at the same time. That doesn't happen down here, but it does up there because there's no atmosphere. So the feather doesn't float down, it just goes straight down.
It's definitely worth noting that the footage doesn't look amazing.
All I'm saying is if they're sending a person to the moon, and when they're doing a race, like even just a race down here on Earth, you're getting all sorts of angles. So you think that they would have had more cameras and stuff that are better.
First, we deployed the rover. That was easy to do. And once we got it on the ground, we just picked it up and carried it off. You can pick up your car on the moon. So I get the camera out, mount it on the rover, plug it in, and we get the antenna pointed at the Earth, turn it on, and they picked up TV.
But they only had one camera and one angle, and they tried their best up there to get the best footage possible. It was the 1960s and early 70s. Let's see if we get any higher level conspiracies at a slightly smarter place.
Now we're here at the Promenade, the outdoor mall, full of middle schoolers. Hopefully it takes us a long time because these kids are being taught in school that the moon landing is real, to find someone that doesn't believe in the moon landing, but fingers crossed. We'll see how long it takes. You guys believe in the moon landing? Yes, I do. Oh, good. You guys believe in the moon landing? Yeah. How do you guys feel about the moon landing? You think it happened? It's fake. You think it's fake? You want to talk about it on camera? No, I actually believe it. Oh, well, I mean, that's good.
I was actually feeling so good about society at this point.
This is kind of amazing. I'm really happy for society. We've seen probably hundreds of middle schoolers, high school kids, and none of them seem to think that the moon landing is fake.
Until we eventually found one girl who felt pretty strongly.
You guys believe in the moon landing? Really? Why do you think that the moon landing isn't real?
Okay, I think that out of all the like the photos and things,
yeah,
you can tell like it has to be safe. This is looking like concrete. If it was wet, you could leave your footprint in it. If it's a rock, how could you?
Do you think that the footprints, if they were made, you would think they'd have to be almost like
exactly
like some sort of knife or something, right, to like cut into the moon?
Yes.
What she's saying is that the moon is one big rock. Why would you make footprints in a rock? Low-key, kind of a good question. I never heard that one before.
What did the surface of the moon feel like?
Fine-grained sand. It was pulverized rock. There's no organic material on the moon. So the meteorites have hit.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let's see how you say.
And over the eons and pulverize the moon, and all this ejecta that comes out from the meteorite hitting, a lot of it's real fine grained and it settles back down onto the moon. I drilled 10.
That's what I was thinking. So, whatever you believe, if you believe in a higher power, whatever, God put the moon there for a reason. So it helps with the lunar tides on Earth. That's how you get high rise or high tide, low tide. But also it's there as sort of a shield for meteors that are constantly whipping through the universe. So is it going to block all of them? No, some of them do come into Earth's atmosphere. But for the most part, after eons of shit slamming into the moon, you're bound to have lunar dust. You're bound to have sand. It's not going to just be a rock floating in space. It's got to have some kind of topography. It doesn't have flora and fauna like plants and shit, but it's got to have some kind of surface to it. You feel me?
Feet down, and it was still fine grained down 10 feet where I happened to drill.
Charlie explained how the moon almost feels sandy. Although it is a big rock, the meteors hitting over time have broken down the surface so much that footprints become possible.
About 30 feet above the moon, the engine exhaust started blowing moon dust everywhere. It was like landing through a fog.
Charlie's mission landed at the lunar highlands, a particularly mountainous area of the moon. There, some parts were sandy, some weren't.
We shoveled trenches and 3 feet deep, and it was still loose down there. The last stop was up at North Ray Crater, and it was a big fresh crater, and it was like walking on a hardwood floor. There was hardly any ejecta that was fine grained up there because it had all been blasted away.
So yeah, footprints are sometimes possible on the moon, sometimes they aren't. But maybe we'll get a smarter conspiracy at our next place.
So we've been to what's considered the least educated town in America, and we've talked to some middle schoolers going shopping. This is kind of the next stereotypically more intelligent group.
I never heard like it was like filmed underwater.
No, I've never heard that.
Shadows are different underwater.
The camera right here, the little pole thingy, the shape different,
There's a good chance, that it could have shot in the studio.
I don't know, that's weird. I don't know why they're all like.
As opposed to nature's offsetting your positions of the shadow.
Sunset's 2 weeks.
Okay. So let's see what he says about the shadow. But, filming underwater, we're talking about modern NASA missions, right? So if you keep an eye on the NASA channel, YouTube channel, or whatever they're broadcasting, in missions, they do have air bubbles sometimes, which would suggest that they're filming in a water tank. Because how do you have air bubbles in space? If the astronaut is doing a moonwalk and going around the space shuttle, the Artemis or the ISS, International Space Station, they're walking around, they're fumbling, they're tinkering and shit, and then you have water bubbles, air bubbles drifting off, whatever they're where it doesn't make sense. There's been a NASA broadcast where there's bugs. I gotta find it. We might have to do another episode and come back to this, but they have actual bugs in their in-space missions. How do flies survive space? Tell me that one, man.
Behind us, on a day on the moon from sunrise to sunset, 2 weeks, and the sun was just coming up like early morning on the moon day. And by the time we left, it was still moon morning. And so at the end of that, we got in the car and we drove to this place called Plum Crater. There's no magnetic field on the moon, so your direction is the angle of the sun.
The moon's rotation is the same speed as its orbit. That's why we always see the same side from Earth, meaning a moon day, the amount of time it takes to rotate, is the same length as a Earth month, the amount of time it takes the moon to orbit Earth. This is because Earth's gravity is strong enough to tug at the moon, keeping the same side of the moon facing us at all times, and the other completely dark. Charlie is not only one of the only people to have ever walked on the moon, but he's also one of the only people to have ever seen the dark side of the moon, which he saw when they were orbiting it before and after landing. Over the course of 3 Earth days on the moon during Charlie's mission, it's still barely eating into the morning for a moon day. So the shadows don't drastically change the whole mission. It would be like the difference between shadows at 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. here on Earth. And yes, the shadows do always face the same direction, but because of the sharp changing surfaces on the moon, the angles change, creating pictures that look like this. What about at our next, smarter location?
This is a luxury gym. I don't know if that means that the people who work out here are going to be super anti-moon or majorly pro-moon.
It honestly took me a while to find someone to talk to me. I don't know if that's because people were smart or if they were just shy.
Oh, God, bro. Oh, hell.
This is why you should subscribe. Remember, if you subscribe this year, I'm literally sending your name into space using radio waves so that aliens can read it. So if you're interested in that, you should subscribe.
I think a lot of it's staged or manipulated or fabricated to some extent. According to NASA, where are
the moon rocks? It's at Johnson Space Center at NASA, but you can't see them.
What's the significance of that if they can just make some random moon rocks? If there's no proof that it's actually tested. To me, that's meaningless evidence.
Where is my moon rock? Give me the evidence. Let's be honest, we all have AI. Well, they didn't then, but you know.
That shows me these moon rocks don't exist. They don't want the general public or other governments or people to know.
The biggest one we brought back was on the first stop.
While he debunks this, I want to tell you about ground news.
I noticed the TV camera pointed down at this rock, and they said, pick up that rock. So I walked over with my shoulder. I said, this one? I said, yeah. I said, it's as big as a watermelon. You want to pick up a rock like that? Yeah, pick it up.
Although Charlie was able to bring back a rock from the moon, in recent news, the Mars sample return mission to bring back rocks from Mars has been canceled because of a budget cut from NASA. I only know this because of Ground News, which has become my preferred news platform. It's this app and website that allows me to see not only today's headlines, but the full picture. And it does this by pulling tens of thousands of headlines from news sources around.
That are still left or in the lunar receiving lab at Johnson Space Center.
So if you want to join Ground News, just scan the QR code that's been on screen the entire time or go to ground.news. UCLA, which is considered one of the best universities in the nation, but this is still a college. What do you think about the moon landing?
I don't believe in that. I believe in it.
Okay, good. What do you think about the moon landing? You think it was real? Oh, me too. I agree. How do you guys feel about the moon landing? Yeah, when they went to the moon.
Probably fake.
Probably fake. Have you heard of it? What? It happened. It was amazing. It's not what I want to hear at a college. It's so interesting because the people that do believe in it are like, how are there even people that don't? But then the people that don't tend to be pretty confident in it. How do you feel about the moon landing?
No, it wouldn't surprise me if it was fake.
Want to talk about it on camera? We're doing a little video.
Sure.
What's your name?
My name is Greg.
What would make you think that maybe the moon landing could be fake?
There's no water or air on the moon, so I mean, is temperature really my concern?
How hot do you think it gets?
180 isn't that bad, but like double 180 is probably a little rough. Yeah.
Where'd you get 180 from?
That's like a sauna.
Oh, sauna's 180 degrees?
Although the moon gets up to those extreme temperatures if you stay all day, they didn't. Remember, a day on the moon is an Earth month. So 3 Earth days wasn't long enough to feel the moon reach peak temperature.
What is the temperature up there usually?
There's no air because there's no atmosphere. The sun heats up the surface. And generally, the average when we landed was about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. When we left, it was 250.
Oh, that's quite the difference.
Yeah. And if you stay all day, temperature gets up to around 400.
Would your suits have been able to handle that?
No, they were limited at 250.
Even if it didn't get horribly scorching hot on their trip, the lack of atmosphere did make it impossible for photographs to survive on the surface. Charlie brought one of his family.
Our kids were, I started training, Tom was 3 and Charles was 5. To get them excited, we'd taken them down to the Cape. We got permission and they let them go up the elevator and the Saturn beside the Saturn V and look into the spacecraft and look around all of the launch pad and stuff. So they were really excited about that. So I said, well, boys, how about let's go to the moon as a family? And they got very excited. I said, well, of course we can't do it for real, but we can take a photograph, and in that photograph, we can go to the moon together. So they thought that was a great idea. So last EVA, I stuck the picture in my suit pocket right here. And so I got to a place that was undisturbed, and I took it out and dropped it onto the lunar surface and took a picture of the picture. On the backside, we'd written, "This is the family of astronaut Charlie Duke from planet Earth, who landed on the moon in April 1972, and we all signed it."
But this brings us to our last and smartest location, UCLA.
This is one of the #1 universities in the nation. Hoping we don't find any moon landing deniers here, but we'll see what happens.
It really didn't take long to find people to talk to us here for some reason.
Do you believe in flushing your toilet after you pee and poop? I do believe that is a thing that I do. Right there, we already have a problem, because if you just believe all the lies that Big Plumbing tells you, I don't know if we can move forward from there. The only reason that gravity exists is because Isaac Newton profited from that.
Here's the deal, right? So I had a final this morning, right? I had like half an hour to get there. There's not that big of a campus. I couldn't even find that. So how are you going to tell me some people could find the moon? Like, that's such an unrealistic claim. Newton's head basically looks like the moon, right? So they could have just practiced landing on his head.
But then we got a dude who was more serious.
All right, what do you think about the moon landing?
Have you seen the comparisons between studios in Hollywood and the video footage they had? It's like oddly similar.
And why would they have faked it?
Oh, for national unity. Cold War, you want the US to be able to say that we're like more technologically advanced than Russia.
Probably the most common conspiracy theory, that America faked it to beat the Russians and win the Cold War.
And this idea that like, oh, there'd have to be so many people in on it. Like, no, it's just like the 5 dudes and like the guy on the camera.
400,000 people working on Apollo, and the Russians in the race. If we'd have faked it, the Russians at 11, they would have flagged the whole world. They congratulated us instead of say you faked it. We went to the moon 9 times. You go fake something, do it once and shut up.
It's true. The Apollo program wasn't one moon landing. It was a series of orbits and landings with 12 different people walking on the moon. But I know, the elephant in the room.
We haven't been back in so long.
I don't know. They're going to have to prove it again.
Why have we not made this a tourism program if we already know we can get up there?
We haven't gone back. We were even supposed to go back 3 more times in the 1970s.
The question can be answered very simply. When Apollo was so successful that they canceled the last 3 missions.
The reason is, honestly, money. NASA has chosen to put their budget in other places. Instead of going back to the moon, they made reusable rockets, the space shuttle, allowing many, many more people to visit space. Then they created the International Space Station, creating an era where there are always humans in space. And there have been for the last 25 years. And then they started putting robots on Mars. Now humans are about to go back to the moon. And I'll be making a video about that soon, but only with the goal and purpose of eventually sending humans to Mars. Now,
we'll see. We'll see. So we're kind of running, excuse me, running short on time because I got to get ready to log in. But I appreciate y'all tuning in for this episode. Let me know what you think about the Nasholes, as I call them, you know, the NASA program, et cetera, et cetera. We'll come back to this. We'll circle back. Probably tomorrow I'll do another episode. I want to see if I can find any videos with Neil deGrasse Tyson and what his thoughts are on NASA and the new Artemis mission. So, yeah, that's it. Shout out to RHU. Shout out to the homies. Shout out to EMG, Big Q, Stan. That's what's up. Love all y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, the bell button especially. Hit all so you're notified of every video. Like I said, I've had a sporadic couple of weeks, but I'll be back to posting every day, doing a video every day. So stay tuned. Until then, take care of each other. Peace.